This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there, it's Jeff Cutastrophe, and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And I know that it's weird that I'm doing this guy as a birthday boy because, there might have been a few decent people around that had their birthday on June 4th. But as I am Canadian and as I am a fan of the CFL, even though I didn't play last year because of COVID, I figure I owe the CFL a favor. So this man is Henry Burris, who is the offensive quality control coach for the Chicago Bears. What the frig is that? An offensive quality control coach? Huh? Well, anyway, he was an 18-year veteran in the CFL from 98 to 2016. 3 Grey Cups, 2 with Calgary, once as a backup in 98 to Jeff Garcia, and once as a starter in 2008. And one with the Ottawa Redblacks in 2016. So he's basically a football analyst for TSN. Anyway, Burris won the CFL's MVP award, or what they call it, the Most Outstanding Player award, in 2010 and 2015. At the time of his retirement, Burris is third in passing yards and passing touchdowns in the CFL history. While playing the CFL, he was also a member of Saskatchewan and Hamilton, alongside Ottawa and Calgary, and spent time in the NFL with the Bears and the Packers. He was the college football star for Temple. And let's face it, Temple's not really a college football powerhouse. I know a certain member who was a good running back for the Temple Elves, but basically, not too good. Anyway, Burris was undrafted in the NFL and decided to sign up north to Canada's CFL and the Calgary Stampeders. He would be basically the guy who was third on the depth chart behind Jeff Garcia and Dave Dickinson. But once Garcia left for the 49ers after Steve Young's retirement, Dickinson was the lead guy for Calgary, and Burris would be the backup. So after 2002, he decided to try his luck with the Saskatchewan Roughriders to be a full-time quarterback. And he did okay. All that. Green Bay decided to give him a chance to play in the NFL in 2001. He would be basically the third string quarterback for the Packers that year. And then he basically was on the practice squad. The Bears signed him in the offseason, and he actually played for the Bears in the 2002-03 season, completing 18 for 51 for 207 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Basically, he received a lot of playing time in the final few games of the season. The Bears signed him to NFL Europe with the Berlin Thunder, but he didn't like it. He went back to Saskatchewan and played for the Riders, and basically was Neon Green's backup. So Burris actually returned in time for the 2003 CFL season and did pretty well for the Riders, getting them close to the 2004 Grey Cup, but they lost in the Western Final to BC, of course. Saskatchewan, but Paul McCallum, who was a great kicker for the Lions, missed an easy field goal in overtime. And basically, Saskatchewan fans just were pissed off with him. So Burris rejected a Saskatchewan contract to actually rejoin the Stamps and all that. Unfortunately, he couldn't do well in the playoffs and all that. Burris basically led Calgary to the playoffs, but then basically he would suffer massive upsets. But in 2008, he changed everything by leading the Stamps to the Grey Cup in 2008 in Montreal against the Alouettes. He was named MVP of the Grey Cup. Burris could not get past Saskatchewan in the playoffs for a long time and all that. Burris kept pushing it with Calgary, But in 2011, his time was basically up as Drew Tate became the starting quarterback of the Stamps and all of that. Burris did not want to be a backup quarterback and knew he was going to end up being the backup to Drew Tate, former Iowa star. So they basically, Calgary decided to trade Burris to Hamilton for quarterback Kevin Glenn. So in Hamilton, he did pretty well as starter, 43 touchdown passes. Unfortunately, the team was 6-12 because of their porous defense. Burris in 2013 was the fifth quarterback in history to throw for 50,000 career passing yards, which was pretty good. He almost got 5,000 yards again in the 2013 season. But Hamilton shockingly lost to Saskatchewan in the Grey Cup on Saskatchewan turf. Burris would then be released by Hamilton because Hamilton decided to sign Zach Collaros. So Ottawa decided to keep him for 3 years, give him a 3-year contract. Burris was not too happy. The Red Blacks were 2-16, and he only got 11 touchdown passes in 18 games. However, Ottawa did better. They had better free agent signings, and they would have a offensive coordinator, Jason Moss, who was a former quarterback himself. Burris would help Ottawa get to a record of 12-6, a 10-game improvement over the previous year. And getting Ottawa to the Grey Cup, which they lost to, I think it was Edmonton. I don't remember. But anyway, Burris at 41 in 2016 had an injury, but Trevor Harris had an injury too. So basically, Burris and Harris would swap places in the starting lineup for Ottawa. Ottawa was 8-9-1. However, they won the division because everyone else stunk, including my Owls. Ottawa would beat Edmonton in the Eastern Final to get to the Grey Cup. But wait a tick. You're saying Edmonton's out west. Well, the CFL has a strange rule that if a fourth place team in either the East or West do better than the third place team in the other division, then they cross over into their division. So basically, due to the fact that, the East sucked, that your Edmonton easily took fourth place in the West and moved to the Eastern playoffs. Thankfully, though, Ottawa won at home. But despite a little bit of a knee injury, Burris threw for 461 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the Red Blacks win in overtime against the Calgary Stampeders 39-33 to win the Grey Cup for Ottawa for the first time in 4 decades. It was amazing. Burris would decided to retire because of injuries and his age. So he did pretty well for himself. In the CFL, he actually had 277 games, 229 starts of them, 63,000 yards, 373 touchdowns, 227 interceptions. Not bad. So basically, football analyst for TSN, CFL and TSN. He's now promoted to be the Bears' offensive quality control coach. What the fuck is that? Henry Burris is a permanent resident of Canada and is married and has 2 boys. Offensive QC coach. I don't understand that. That still gets me. It's like quality control coach in the NFL? Gee, that just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do